Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Miss Glen and Friends Read On. I'm excited to have one of my friends, Miss Natalie, to join us here today. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to her, let her introduce herself, and jump right into the book.
Hey y'all, it's really nice to be here with you guys today. I'm excited to read a book that is fairly new to me, but I'm really excited about it. I hope you all enjoy it. A little bit about me. I am joining you all from Austin, Texas. I work in education. I used to be a fourth grade reading teacher, so I'm super stoked to get to spend some time with some fourth graders today. But yeah, with that, we are going to jump in. And today we're going to read a book called A Different Pond. It's written by Bao Phi, and it's illustrated by Phi Bui. The author and the illustrator are both immigrated to the United States from Vietnam. And so we're going to hear the story about Bao's father's life. And so he tells the story about family and survival and hope based on his father's experiences. So we are going to dig into A Different Pond. Dad wakes me up quietly so Mom can keep sleeping. It will be hours before the sun comes up. In the kitchen, the bare bulb is burning. Dad has been up for a while making sandwiches and packing the car. Can I help? I ask. Sure, my dad whispers and hands me the tackle box. I wonder where they're going to go if they have a tackle box. The streetlights look brighter and the roads aren't so busy before the sun comes up. Dad turns on the heater and tells me stories. A kid at my school said my dad's English sounds like a thick, dirty river. But to me, his English sounds like a gentle rain. That makes me think a little bit. When he says his English sounds like a gentle rain, what do you think he means by that? Do any of you want to chat in? What do you think he means when he says, some people say his English doesn't sound very good. It sounds like a thick, dirty river. But I think it sounds like a gentle rain. All right, well, think about what we think that means. We stop at the bait store on Lake Street. It always seems to be open. How many of you thought that he was going to go fishing when he grabbed a tackle box? Because now, if they're at a bait store, it's making me think, ooh, maybe they really are going to go fishing. You're here early today, the bait man says. I got a second job, my dad explains. I have to work this morning. On a Saturday? The bait man asks. My dad nods. I feel the bag of minnows move. They swim like silver arrows in my hand. He has a little bag of fish. It's still dark when we get to the pond. We park the car and climb over the divider between the road and the trees. My dad holds my hand and walks ahead through the tangle and scrub. Step where I step, he says. I am thinking about what Dad told the bait man. If you got another job, why do we still have to fish for food? I ask. Everything in America costs lots of money, he explains. I feel calluses on his hands when he squeezes mine. Sometimes a Hmong man is at the pond. He speaks English like my dad and likes to tell funny jokes. Sometimes there is a black man there too. He shows me his colorful lure collection. This time, it's just me and my dad. It's a little bit cold. I rub my hands together and yawn, and look up to see faint stars like freckles. As Dad sets up in a clearing, I gather small, thin twigs for a fire. They need to be dry and clean. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 10 more for later. I put some rocks in a circle and set up the twigs, like a volcano, Dad reminds me. I set one end of each twig down, the other up, leaning them in so they can rest against each other and hold each other up. I get it to light with just one match, Dad nods. You want to put a minnow on the hook? Dad asks. I want to help, but I shake my head no. I don't want to hurt that little fish, even if I know it's about to be eaten by a bigger one. Have any of you all ever gone fishing before and tried to put a bait on the hook? I've never done it because I felt very similarly that I didn't want to hurt the fish, and I thought it was kind of gross and slimy. Um, but his dad is going to help him out and put it on his hook for him. My dad smiles. He isn't upset with me that I don't want to put the bait on the hook. Dad hands me a sandwich, cold bologna between two pieces of bread. Careful of the spicy stuff, he says. There's half a peppercorn, like a moon split in two, studded into the meat. I used to fish by a pond like this one when I was a boy in Vietnam, Dad says, biting into his sandwich. With your brother? I ask. He nods, then looks away. Dad tells me about the war, but only sometimes. He and his brother fought side by side. One day, his brother didn't come home. What do we think the dad is feeling when I hear him say, with your brother, and then it says he nods, then looks away? What do you think his dad is feeling when he looks away? And what do you think happened to his uncle? It says, one day his brother didn't come home. I wonder. Makes me think maybe his dad was a little bit sad. The bobber dips in the dark and Dad pulls. Got one, he says, almost shouting. A crappie, and soon another. Can I help? I ask. Just for like vocabulary, a crappie is a type of fish. So they caught a fish. He nods, and I use two hands to help guide the fish into a bucket. The fish feels slimy and rough at the same time. Dad laughs at the funny face I make. Look at his funny face. That's the same face I made when I touched fish. Ugh, gross. Dad smiles, his teeth broken and white in the dark, because we have a few fish and he knows we will eat tonight. Time to go home. Dad must get ready for work. He washes his hands with a small nub of green and white soap. Then I do the same. I look at the trees as we walk back to the car. I wonder what the trees look like at the other pond, in the country my dad comes from. I wonder. By the time we get home, the sunlight through the windows is just a faint tint, blue and gray instead of gold. At home, Mom looks tired, but she smiles at the fish in the big white bucket. My dad changes his clothes and gets ready to go to work. He pats me on the back and says to Mom, "Our boy did a good job with the fire today." "You learn so quickly," Mom says. Then she asks me to help with the fish before she has to go to work too. I'm sad that she and Dad must leave, but not too sad. I know that later on they will both come home. "Look after your baby brother," Mom reminds my brothers and sisters. She means me. Then she gets on her bike and goes to work. I am not a baby, I think to myself. I helped catch dinner. How many of you sometimes feel like you're older than people think you are? Or they call you like the baby and you're like, "No, I'm not a baby. I'm in fourth grade." Tonight, when we are all home, Dad will put rice in the cooker and Mom will fry the fish on both sides until they are crispy. I will bring out the jar of fish sauce that has flecks of chili pepper and carrots floating on top. At the table, my brothers and sisters will tell me funny stories. Mom will ask about their homework. Dad will nod and smile and eat with his eyes half closed. I bet his dad is really tired. "Good fish," he will say to me. And I will smile and nod, and later, when we sleep, we will dream of fish in faraway ponds. Why do you think he says they'll dream of fish in faraway ponds when he goes to bed? What do you think? One thing to think about is the book title is called A Different Pond. So there are actually two different ponds in the story, the one that they fish at, and then the one that his dad fished at when he was in Vietnam before he emigrated. So they're thinking about the two different ponds. In this picture at the end, let me show you again. This is the pond he's dreaming about. It actually looks a little bit different than the one that they fished at. Let me see if I can find it better. This is the one where they fished. So it makes me think he's dreaming about the pond where his dad fished at when he was a little boy. What do you all think? So this story I really love a lot. I'll talk a little bit about, I want you all to think about like, what are the themes? What are the lessons that we can learn from this story? So I'll give you a second to think about it. Like, what does this story make you think? What lessons can we learn from it? And those are usually the book's themes. So for me, one of the things that I think about is how the love of a family and the love between our people that we love, whether they're like related to us or the family that we choose, really do bond us. And when times are hard, like that love endures and makes it a little bit easier. It sounds like, I mean, his dad has two jobs, his mom worked, and that's normal life for a lot of folks, but it's not easy. And when I saw them eating together and telling stories, it made me think about the love that they have with each other and how it makes kind of hard times a little bit easier. And the other thing that this story makes me think about is the power of telling stories. So this book is about a little boy learning some of his father's story, what it was like for his dad to grow up. And it made me start to wonder, what are the stories of the people that I love who are older? And so that is my charge to you all to think through. Your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, family, friends, people you go to church with. Like, what are their stories? What was it like for them when they were in fourth grade? And then thinking about how is your life similar? How is your life different? Um, and so I had a 2-hour conversation with my grandmother the other day, and I asked her, I was like, Grandma, what was life like when you were growing up? And what's something that you feel like made everything different now? She actually talked about televisions, which was pretty interesting. But the two themes of this story and what has me thinking makes me want to send you all a ton of love and lean on the people that you love, because times are a little bit hard right now. And so lean into that. And then also, like, take the time to learn the stories of people around you and think about, wow, how is my life similar? How is it different? What does this now like help me understand about the people that are around me? So with that, that's the story, A Different Pond. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was a good story, and I love the challenge that you've given my students. I see, Julian, that you've joined us, and thank you for participating throughout the reading. And I saw a few others of you came on and off, so you can just comment if you're watching the replay. Just comment below as those questions pop up, or you can message me on Seesaw or Class Dojo. But I'd really like for all of my students, talk to a parent or an older neighbor and just ask them about a story from their childhood and compare it to your life now. Thank you so much, Natalie, for coming on and reading with the students. Great book to read. I love the challenge that you've given them.
Awesome. Y'all be safe.
All right, everybody take care, and we'll be back at 7 with another reading and another special guest.